Well, the Spider-Man Council is back. Thank you all for joining us. If you're watching live or watching later on, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment, say all kinds of things, interact with the video so we can get into a greater algorithm because YouTube just loves that, But yes, we are so close to 1,000 subscribers. Please subscribe and get our name out there so we can get to that point. I'd really appreciate it. Again, please hit the like button. We've got an exciting show today. We got lots of Across the Spider-Verse hype by talking about our favorite Spider-Man alternative Spider-Man, you could say. That seems like a very alternative lifestyle, alternative Spider-Man, right? So anyway, I, of course, am not alone. I am joined by the council themselves, the Spider-Man Council. Zach's gone, but that doesn't matter. Hello, council members. I didn't have more ladies on this, by the way. Council people, we'll call them.
Yeah, it's very one-sided so far.
It is, and I know it's a little bit of a sausage fest.
It's still early.
Yeah.
It's still early in the journey.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of these have there been? Like 5 or something?
We're getting up there. We're getting up there. Yeah, we're good. The council is for real. So I plan on trying to diversify as far as having more of the opposite sex on here for Spider-Man Council, because it's not just us. It'll be everyone's invited. But I need to get more ladies on here. So that is a call to arms for all you lady Spider-Man fans out there. So hit me up. I'm really excited about the obviously about Spider-Man. He's my favorite character of all time, so of course I'm excited about talking about him. But we're gonna quickly touch on our thoughts on Across the Spider-Verse trailer. Just first, quick second. I don't want like a 5-minute tirade, Zach, about Across the Spider-Verse. So just give me a quick little how you're feeling about it, and we'll move on because we got a big fish to fry tonight.
Listen. I'll go into more explicit detail on the next episode of Spider Dude Experience, which will be simulcast on this here channel.
I love the plug.
But
I love it.
I enjoyed it.
Wait, go crazy. Let me introduce people, sir. Come on.
My bad. I forgot.
Anyway, it's all right. I do that all the time in your show, so
exactly.
It's only fair. It's only fair. No, but thank you guys for all coming out tonight. We're gonna give our favorite alternative Spider-Man. Oh, sorry, was someone saying something? I didn't want to interrupt. I apologize. Anybody? No. Okay. Favorite alternative Spider-Man. It's gonna get interesting because I guarantee you, no one's gonna pick mine. Nobody.
Is it Kevin?
He's not a Spider-Man. He's not a Spider-Man.
He could be. He's going to be now.
Oh, that's fair.
He's in his mind. He's a figment of his own projection.
I like this. I do have a couple props I have to grab for mine at some point. But of course, I will go last as usual because I want you guys to all go first. I will try to mix it up. I was on a show with Javi earlier. So Javi, I'm going to go with you first. I just want you to introduce yourself, plug your stuff, and then tell us a little bit about Across the Spider-Verse.
All right. I'm
what your
Javi
thoughts
Trujillo.
are. Yeah.
And you can find me at Javi True on Twitter down below. Co-host with my son, Amazing Spider-Man Classics on the Spidey Dude Radio Network, which I need to edit some of the episodes we have in the can. And on Batman on Film, I review a whole bunch of comics and occasionally co-host Batmanimation, which is a series that we're doing where we look at any and every incarnation of animated Batman stuff, which Paul was my guest on this morning, which should be up hopefully in a week or two. Spider-Verse, I am stoked. I like that the teaser took like a little bit more of a personal note at first, and then just hit you in the face with all the myriad of possibilities of spider people. And it was great to see favorites, even if it was just a second, even if that's the only screen time they have, to see Spinneret and Spiderling walk by, to see a variation of Spider Cop. Was a lot of fun, and there's just so many people in that trailer to get excited by, including more of Miguel O'Hara.
Mm-hmm.
And can we do Christmas presents really quick?
Yes.
All right. For Christmas, I got 2 really big gifts from Brooke. One is really big in size and price, but she got me the Todd McFarlane.
That's the McFarlane
edition. And it has to be seen to be believed because it's this freaking huge. Like, you can't even fit it in my frame.
It's gorgeous.
It's gigantic.
What?
Damn,
I've got a Ramita, like volume 2 of the Ramita Senior book, and those are like issues, like not necessarily consecutive, but it's like a full comic.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I was surprised that is not this. I saw this and I thought, well, it's like the McFarlane Venom stuff, which I already have the old trade from the 90s and then the bigger version they did recently, but it's not. It is like pretty much a couple pages from every issue of Spider-Man that he's done, with 1 or 2 exceptions. So it's like, here's like 2 pages from 316. Here's 2 pages from 304. Here's, a couple pages from Spider-Man number 3. And it's just, some of these pages have like his autographs. Some he like made out to other people and like signed them. So it's just a smattering of all his work, and it's
when I come visit next time, I get to come see it.
Yes, like I just want to rip pages out and hang them on the wall because they're so big and so awesome. So, yeah.
All right, gotta move on. Sorry. We gotta go. All right. Next on the list, I'm gonna introduce Mr. Zach Joyner. Why don't you tell us where we can pip your stuff out and what your quick thoughts on Across the Spider-Verse.
For me, you can go find me at Spidey Dude Radio. You can see my name down in the description thingy on here. You can go to spidey-dude.com and find all of the Spidey Dude Radio Network. So many shows, including Spidey Dude Experience, Amazing Spider-Man Classics. I can't point to the correct person. Adam and Paul are on, and Hobby sometimes are all on the Spidey Dude Experience. And we got that. We got Make My Mayday. You can go to the channel and give us a like over there too. If you like this stuff, you give us a like over there. We're trying to get to as many as Paul. So, and my brief thoughts are: I am excited. There was not enough Scarlet Spider in the trailer. That's my only complaint. And no, there might be a cameo of Josh Keaton as Spectacular Spider-Man, but don't hold your breath. It's not a it's not a revival.
All right, next on the list, Nico.
Oh, sir, how we doing?
Doing good. Where we can find you and tell us your Across the Spider-Verse quick thoughts.
Yeah, of course. One, it's always great to be here with these legends. You can follow me everywhere here on Twitter, which is where I do a lot of shows. All the shows I do, you can find are accessible through Twitter. I'm on here a lot. Do a lot of different shows. I also do film reviews on TikTok, and it's gonna be fun because we have the Golden Globes that just happened tonight. We got the SAG nominations tomorrow. We got the Oscar nominations later in the month. A bunch with all kinds of other films coming out. So I'm doing a lot of stuff there. My thoughts of Across the Spider-Verse are I'm right in the same boat as Javi. I even tweeted this when it came out. I love that they led with the emotional core of the movie and what I think the heart of it is going to be, because I think in this new wave of the multiversal projects, it feels like everyone's more focused on all of the cameos and which characters are going to appear. So I like that they led with that. They reminded you this is a Miles Morales story, and then they smacked you in the face with everything at the end. I was really into the posters too, because the different countries had larger ones. So there were some cool Spideys to spot in there, but which I can't wait to talk about. So I'm happy to be here as always, and let's get it.
All right, Adam, take us home. What's the before we get into our main topic?
Let's see. I'm at Enchilada Legs on Twitter. I'm on the Spidey Dude Experience on the Spidey Radio Network with Zach and Paul and Javi sometimes. I'm on here, the Comic Bench sometimes. We did the MCU required reading for Wakanda Forever. I did that with Paul and Chris. You should check that one out.
Yes.
Thoughts on the trailer? I liked it. I wish there was a bit more plot stuff. I want to know a little more of the plot, but I appreciate what we got, and I know that that's coming eventually. So can't really complain.
Okay. So everyone's pretty positive. It sounds like that's good. That's good. I'm glad everyone's positive. I of course the movie looks incredible. I mean, I think that Into the Spider-Verse will always be, I think, one of those really special moments that people weren't expecting. I think, for as far as Spider-Man fans, I know for myself, I can tell you right now, I was not anticipating to be even remotely loving that movie as much as I did until like I started seeing trailers for it, and I saw the movie. I made my wife go see it, and if you know my wife, who hates everything, I mean, she,
Damn.
yeah, I'll just call her out, man. I don't care. She's been on the show. She knows how it is.
Yeah, that was a good. Everyone should watch that episode. That's an all timer. I told Paul this is an all timer.
Yeah, no, that was maybe one of the funnest shows I've ever done, and we're gonna bring her back and her podcast partner Carrie. We'll bring him back, and we'll do more Alan Moore stuff. We'll probably do V for Vendetta next. Which, good lord,
that would be wild.
It's gonna be a while,
though, right? To do that.
No, one? I don't care about that. Anyway, that's how I do it. All right, so for everyone who's
Adam
wondering,
the reference.
Yeah, he understands. I understand too.
We get it. We get it.
So here's the thing. We know that Across the Spider-Verse is coming out, and the weird thing is that if you go back 20 years, Spider-Man doesn't have the alternate Spider-Man. It doesn't have or not 20 years, I'd say 30 years, I should say. You don't have the alternate Spider-Man craze that we have now, right? Mm-hmm. It's just not there. I'll never forget, and everyone who's read the comics in the 90s, we're all pretty much in the same boat here. I don't know about you, but when I was reading like Batman and those things, I was a little jealous of there wasn't the Spider-Man family like there was the Batman family, right? We didn't have the Robins, the Huntresses. We didn't have the Catwoman. Well, we had Black Cat. So I guess I digress. I'll take that back. But you get what I'm saying. There wasn't this, Nightwing, I should say. We didn't have those characters where they're all part of an affiliated and close-knit with the, Spider-Man character. He was that loner character, right? And now that's not the case anymore. And for better or for worse, this is what we're dealing with. And I thought it'd be cool with Across the Spider-Verse. And as we go through the year, the Spider-Man Council will definitely be doing more Spider-Man, alternate Spider-Man content as far as like diving into that whole thing. But I thought it'd be cool to talk about what maybe our favorite comic book counterpart, not the movies, our favorite alternate Spider-Man that is in the comic books, and maybe we can get in behind that somehow. So I'm excited to go through. I know everyone's. I hope everyone didn't spoil each other's, besides Zach. We all know Zach's, which I'll make him go first, I think, because of that, for that reason only.
Well, you talk about the Spider family, Paul, but I think you're glossing over the fact that for at least 40 years, he's had some amazing friends like Firestar and Iceman. So he's always had a supporting cast.
That's fair.
I haven't gotten that set yet, but I'm getting it. It's happening in the next few months.
I thought always thought that the Amazing Friends was a little overrated, to be honest. Like I don't know. Like I as a kid I loved it, but like I don't know. Like the Iceman Firestar, like I just think it's a weird combos. Even now it is weird. It's weird, but I will say I'll tip my hat a little bit in this. Javi, I'll just say this. I called one person 100% on the money. And we'll talk. This person already knows about it.
Yeah.
Already knows about it.
I already thought about it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, Zach, I'll let you go first. I already have your stuff ready to go. We'll start alternate Spider-Man. Who is your alternate non-616 Peter Parker Spider-Man? Oh, is that Spider-Girl?
No, it's Ben Reilly.
Damn.
Oh, my bad. I couldn't recognize the costume. My bad.
Oh, yeah, you're funny. It's Ben.
I know.
It's Ben Reilly for me. It was very close. I'll be honest, because I almost went with Mayday. I almost did.
What? I thought you were going to maybe.
So did I.
Okay. Are we talking? So it can't be in the 616, right?
No. You can be. It can't be in the movie.
If it's not, Peter Parker, if it's like an alternate Peter Parker or like an alternate person,
like Spider-Ham would have worked. I almost
yeah. So it's Ben Reilly for me. I just really, obviously, my podcasting career has been inundated with my love for the character, and it's not a surprise for anybody that it's my favorite non Peter Parker character. And so the costume is great. I got in this debate on Twitter about Insomniac's tweaking of the costume.
I saw that.
And
I saw it too. Yeah.
I saw it
like to take because it definitely captured the spirit of what that costume is. That costume is supposed to be a temporary costume that became so synonymous and so iconic that when they tried to redesign it for Peter David's series, everybody universally hated it but Peter David.
Well, because it looks like garbage. I mean, I love Peter David, but I look like hot garbage. Let's be real.
I think if you didn't have the spider side design, I think it would have been fine. But his name was
outlawed from this, sir.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. The third clone of Peter Parker,
Freak Face.
Oh God. Anyway, all right. I digress.
but no, I've enjoyed all of his 90s adventures. Not enjoying it so much, and I enjoyed a good chunk of Beyond.
Yeah.
Not necessarily enjoying the current stuff as much, but
give me Chasm, baby.
It took a weird turn for sure. It had a lot of promise at the start. Zach, I'm with you. Oh, thank you, Zeddy.
Hi, Zeddy.
Wow.
Zeddy.
Wow.
But just
showing favoritism in the comments.
We're all somebody's Spider-Man, I guess.
God damn it. God damn it, you're so right.
You gotta click that. We gotta clip that. We're all
we're all
so when I saw that Paul used the final splash page of Amazing Spider-Man 404 as the cover art for today, I knew that I had to lean into it and just say it's Ben Reilly. One of the best alternate introductions to a character, especially at Marvel. I think that they did a really good job fleshing out his arc and did a really good job of giving you a reason to root for the character. And so that's why
what the hell?
That's why I had to select it. I mean, again, very close second was going to be Mayday. But it had to be Ben. It just had to be Ben. Because Ben, 90s Ben doesn't get enough love.
All right, really quick, I want you to tell me a favorite story, or again, not like don't go on an 8-minute tirade. Just give me a really quick what you think, or a story, like a comic story or whatever.
I have 3.
God damn it. Just give me one.
ASM 400.
Okay.
Spider-Man Redemption.
Okay.
And Spider-Man Lost Years.
Oh, sensation.
Oh, all right. You know what? Good job, Zach. That was well done.
Like that. Those are the 3 books, 3 things that you got to go out and seek. Because that's what really defines the character.
So with that, great work, Zach. You know what? And we'll do Lost Years for the binge sometime, obviously. So for the council. So don't worry. Yeah. And by the way, minus Chris, we're like, this is almost the OG council. You know,
I know,
but
it is.
But the Reverend is here in spirit, and Adam takes his place well. So anyway,
thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so I'm gonna go with Mr. Hobster. Let's go, and you guys can all interject. Obviously,
sure.
Zach, you don't have to sit down there and now never say anything. Obviously, you can chime in.
I am going to give me a bottle of water, so I'll be back.
No, you're not. You're staying here, sir. No, I'm just kidding.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Hobsters, what's your who is your alternate Spider-Man favorite here?
I knew this one.
I didn't know it.
There was no shocking way that it wasn't going to be Miguel O'Hara, the Spider-Man of 2099.
Wow.
This is the best redesign, I think, of the costume
I would agree
I've
with
ever
that.
seen.
Yeah, that's one of them.
This costume is sick, man.
I had this poster. I was telling Paul this. I had this poster up in my room in the 90s, but like at a little bit of a Dutch angle, so it looked even more like he was like falling down on you. I have no idea what happened to it or where it went. I can't imagine I got rid of it, but I haven't been able to find it for years. But Miguel first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man, the 30th anniversary issue 365. Where they showed the first couple pages of his first issue as a backup. That was his introduction. And just going into that 30th anniversary year was something special, getting all the books month to month. And then all of a sudden we have this new Spider-Man. And what really caught my attention was that he was half Mexican.
Okay.
And being, full Mexican or Hispanic, Latino, that meant a lot to me. And Stan has commented for decades about, anyone can wear the mask. And Peter Parker was the first hero I identified with, like reading as a kid. And now this Spider-Man, like I saw a little bit of my heritage in him, and it made a big difference because I didn't feel like worthy enough, I guess. I always felt maybe a little bit everyone else. Yeah.
Oh, Javi.
Not to get like
come on, Javi.
Like childhood things. But
Javi, if anyone's worthy, my friend.
If anyone,
thank you, brother.
Seriously.
Worthy,
no, seriously. You're my Peter Parker, Javi.
Thank you. Representation matters, and
Amen.
And this was a big deal to me. And it was in an interesting time too, because Peter wasn't exactly Peter at this point. This was the whole, like, he was starting to get into the whole I am the Spider and things were fun. And like, we didn't know where the Clone Saga was going on a monthly basis. And I had some consistency in the world of 2099. Now he's kind of like the antithesis of Spider-Man. And that's kind of like Peter David's intent. There was a lot of, well, Peter was like this, so Miguel's going to be like that. Like Miguel was the sarcastic quipster. Spider-Man was very serious. He was a little bit more violent and edgy, and maybe didn't have like a code. And there was even like a point where his brother told him, with great power comes great responsibility. And Miguel pushes back on it. Well, no, with great power comes great guilt. And just Peter David's sense of humor really leaped off the page to me. And just, it was such a crazy world with all these different aesthetics. And I just got sucked into it. And kind of like a conversation we had earlier today, Paul, about Batman Beyond, where they kind of went the fresh route. Like the first 6 or 7 issues of this, like it was setting up the world. We got to learn about like Venture and then the Specialist. And then they bring in like the Vulture. And then like as the series went on, we started to get like 2099 versions of these characters. But it was fun to be in there at the ground level. And he's come back in a lot of different iterations, and like was it Time Slip or Time Slide?
Yeah.
Then Peter David came back, and then we've got whatever we got with Spencer, which wasn't quite the same thing.
That was bad.
So, but this original run from the 90s has been just, I have a real soft spot for it. I love the costume. Just, it was so weird to have the Death's Head mixed in with the spider. Like it felt very 90s because of that. And I love that corner box where it was kind of like the old Ditko cover box.
Yeah.
Marvel Tales box. But like, and it's cool that some of his Hispanic heritage came into that. Like, that Day of the Dead wasn't something I learned about through my family, ironically. Like I learned it from Spider-Man.
No way.
Yeah. And that became something because of this, like later on, where I'm like, Dad, why didn't we like do this? She's like, I don't know. Because like, there's part of like that integration, I think, too.
Interesting.
He was like a young man. So it was more like he had to learn English and everything. So it was like acclimating to the society they were in. But it like, and Rick Leonardi's art is just gorgeous.
Oh God, it's great.
And not only that, but he is like just a class act. I got to interview him at the last Comic-Con we had in Austin back in like 2019.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like big Comic-Con. It was a Wizard World. And he offered to buy me a cup of coffee. I'm like, I was going to buy you coffee because you're doing me a favor. But we talked a little bit about 2099, but more about like the black costume and how his part in co-creating it, and you know, the usual stuff like MJ versus Gwen and the Spider-Man issue 17 that he did. Was 17 or 15? 15.
17 maybe 15, 17, 15. I don't know.
No. It was 17. It was 17 because 15
where he punches
was
Thanos.
Yeah, where he punches Thanos on the cover. So he's just an awesome guy. So that was a big highlight for me too. So one of the reasons why I got my first Marvel hot toy was Spider-Man 2099. And yeah, he's been in a ton of games, from the PlayStation 1 game to you can have a skin of him in the PS4 game, and then
Shattered Dimensions.
Shattered Dimensions.
I need to play that game.
It's those games are fun. They're pretty underrated. They were fun.
Reverend loves them.
Yeah,
dude.
They were.
I missed out. I skipped Edge of Time, but Shattered Dimensions was fun.
Yeah, to have the 4 different voices.
Yeah. That's
so yeah, cool. Way before like the Into the Spider-Verse movie, like it was a game and it was awesome.
Yeah,
so if you haven't played it, check it out.
Yeah, and to me, kind of follow up on, you know, before we move on. Whoops.
Spoiler.
Oh God. Oh God. What am I doing? Who's this?
Oh, messing.
Look at that. Look at that web foil.
Oh my
and the way that he did the powers too, like before like 2002, before the Raimi films, like he had claws to climb up with. He had his talons, which could also be weapons. He had organic web shooting before Tobey Maguire did. Like a lot of cool things we got to see in this run.
Okay.
He had enhanced vision instead of spider sense. So
I just to kind of wrap up on 2099, I'm going to say that he was a weird one for me, Javi, because as a kid, I bought that first issue, right? And that's what I was trying to get to before I spoiled someone's reveal here. I bought this issue expecting like action packed, you know, whatever, and he's in it for like literally 3 pages.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell is this? And I was so bummed.
But that last page, though, what a doozy.
It is. But I like the series. I could never get into it because it felt like it wasn't made for me. Not because of obviously Mexican heritage, stuff like that, but like because just but like it wasn't made for me like as a kid because it was a little more talky. It was a little more
okay, I gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was a little more what's the word I'm looking for? Nuance, I think, in that way. It wasn't an action-packed, like, you know, a blockbuster. It was a little more of a thinker piece, and it was kind of developed world building. And I wasn't ready for that. But I will tell you, this costume pumped me the hell mother effing up. Like this costume is.
I think our brother Nico would say it slaps.
It does slap, my friend.
Definitely slaps.
That's my favorite alternate costume. I'm pretty sure.
we'll do a ranking of like top 5 like favorite costumes of this at some point. So before we move on, go ahead, Javi.
Yeah, I was gonna say also just an interesting note. This costume they refer to it in the comics as black. They call him the Man in Black.
Yep.
He mentions that it's like a black and red suit. And
interesting.
But I mean, I always look at it as like blue.
Yeah,
depending on the coloring.
This isn't like the blacks. Like there's 2 ways to like have a black suit and shade it, and I feel shade it blue. And this is
like this the reads more suit.
Like blue. The symbiote in the black suit reads as black with the minimal blue shading, but this reads as blue, definitely.
Yeah, which got a lot of people upset in the PS4 game. How it says 2099 black suit. And then 2099 is it called white suit? I forget.
Maybe
I don't play with that one as much.
Oh god, white suit.
But,
all right, anyone?
But yeah,
go ahead. Sir. All right, anyone want to have some final thoughts on Mr. 2099 before we move on? Anyone?
No, I think Javi said it best, man.
Zach,
thanks, dude.
As always.
Zach, you're muted, sir. Try it again. Thank you.
I need to get a new legend of Miguel because his arm broke.
Oh no!
Snap, dog.
Falling out of its socket.
Well, that's
I don't know how it happened during my
good.
move, and I got really sad.
Oh
well. You know, I hate to say it, but I don't know where I put it. But that new 2099 figure for the Across Spider-Verse, like that I showed on the show a while ago, was pretty cool. I think it's a solid figure to go out there and buy. It's only what $9-8. It's you know, you can't really bend it, you know, a whole ton, but it's cool. It's a cool little figure.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get that retro carded. They did a retro card of the 2099 as a fan channel. So
yeah, it looked good
because that one actually has more hands.
Excellent.
So
all right. Anyone else before we move on to anyone else? Adam, Nico.
I mean, great costume. I need to read more. I've read a couple issues because he's just a cool character, and I liked using his costume in the PS1 game back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was, I don't know. I think he's the coolest looking of like all of them.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So
right on. All right, Nico, anything else?
What's cool is he's going to become in the mainstream now.
Yeah.
And,
he really is. Yeah.
Which is, it's a treat that we're going to start seeing some of these characters that like only we would have known, right? A few years ago. Are
like Oscar Isaac.
That's the thing too.
Dude,
like
when I saw that when he was at the end of the first one, I was like, oh hell yeah. This is awesome.
So it's cool. It's cool to know.
And the good thing is, if you've got Marvel Unlimited, you can read his entire series on Marvel Unlimited.
It's all there.
So like you can read the first volume, the second volume, third volume.
Good call, Zach. Good call.
The stuff in the present day isn't as good, in my opinion, but it's still worth reading.
Yeah, that 2014 or whatever series. I read a few of those. It was interesting at the time.
Yeah.
And then you got
all right.
Spider-Man meets Spider-Man 2099, the Peter David.
Yes. All right. So we have moved on from the 2099, and I'm gonna mix this one up a little bit. And I'm just gonna say, because no one knows who's this next one's gonna be. Well, the person who picked Venom, please raise their hand.
Hey, everybody.
Oh my God. What is going on?
Such a shock.
Such a shock.
Now,
this is
so hold on. Nico, I gotta this is gonna be amazing. Javi, what did I tell you this morning? I want you to confirm this.
You're like, I'm pretty sure Nico is gonna pick Venom.
Or who was I said either Venom or who else did I say?
Oh my God, who was the second one now? Spider-Man Noir.
No. Wait, I may have said I said Ben. I thought I said Ben, but maybe I misspoke. But either way, I thought Venom, and I was like, you can pick Venom because I want you guys, before I throw it to you, I want to get everyone's opinion, and I don't want like a 12-minute thing, Zach. All right, just make this very clear.
Why is it that
you're picking on Zach?
That's the third comment for Zach.
You know why? Because I know Zach. I do it to Zach all the time, and because Zach will do it. Because I say one thing, and Zach will go off for 20 minutes, and Zach will say one thing, I'll go off for 20 minutes. So we're Zach. I just call it out because I'm the same way, brother. We're the same. We're the same. Right. I'm not calling you out because I'm different. Because I'm worse.
I know.
Yeah, trust me, you know. So before Nico speaks, and you can say it last, Nico, but would you consider Venom? I consider Venom an alternate Spider-Man. Do you all consider it? Adam?
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Is he the first?
Is he the first?
That's a
no,
question.
because the clone in 149 was the first.
That's a good answer by Adam.
Adam.
Way to flex back.
That was a Chris Clow level comment.
That's a reverend comment.
That was
we have a pastoral student in the
there's a reverendation, Paul.
Yeah.
Someone's got to like because Nico's letting the devil in right now. So. It's about to be an exorcism.
Yes, this is great. This is great. All right, Zach, do you consider Venom a alternate Spider-Man? You can disagree. You'll be wrong.
I would have disagreed prior to the Donny Cates run.
I love you. Wait, that's
my
I'm
effing
going.
God. Are you all right? Hold on. Hold your horses. Javi. Hold on. You said your piece. Javi.
When we discussed when we talked about it this morning, where you're like, I think Nico's gonna pick him. I'm like, well, he's not really Spider-Man. But then I thought about it. I'm like, well, he wore the same costume, like literally like the same thing that. So he does have like similar powers. I'm like, yeah, I guess he kind of is.
He is an alternate Spider-Man. God damn it.
Yeah. So I wasn't thinking about it. And then you raised the question and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I think he would count.
Word. So, okay. Nico.
That's a yes.
All right, Nico. I didn't mean to spoil it from you.
No,
but
dude,
sir,
you're golden.
why don't you just explain why you picked Venom for your? Which I let you. You're like, I'm like, you could pick Venom, you know. You're like, what?
You did steer me towards it, and then it made me think. So let me explain. So I was gonna go with Mr. Ben Reilly, because that to me, he really is, I think, the best alternate Spider-Man in my opinion. However, when you said pick Venom, and I said really, I was thinking. I'm like, well, how am I gonna spin that? And then when I finally said, wait, I know exactly what I want to talk about. Because I was like, let me think about it. I'm like, I agree with Zach. It was not until this run, because with this run, with the Donny Cates run of Venom, we get to now say Venom joins the list of characters who you can say at one point he was the key and the hero of the Marvel Universe. Because not once, but twice in this story, he is the centerpiece of a cataclysmic event and is the focal point and the hero that has to stop it. And he rallies the Avengers, the X-Men, he rallies everyone. So what this story did for Eddie Brock is first of all, it progressed him as a character. You read Spider-Man 300 and then come to this, it's incredible. He saved the character, in my opinion. Eddie Brock, what he was in the mid-2000s, he was people didn't know what to do with him, and Donny Cates did the best thing he could do with him, and that was make him a father. And I have a great relationship with my dad. We do shows together. You all know him. You all have done shows with him. And
Papa Nick.
I'm a sucker for a father-son story. And so this made me see Eddie Brock. I was already a massive Venom fan, and I loved him as an anti-hero, right? But this story makes him a hero for two reasons. It makes him the actual hero of the Marvel Universe, and it also turns him to every son's hero and their father, right? So it's such an important story for Eddie Brock, and it dives back into his history too, goes back to his family elements, it brings in all his other supporting characters, and he learns from everyone, but it also, you see the ultimate respect he gets from Peter, who puts his life on the line at one point to protect his son, and their relationship progresses in this story. This run progresses Eddie Brock more than anything I've seen, in my humble opinion. So with this story, and I agree with Zach, I love it. He said he wouldn't have considered him an alternate Spider-Man until this run. I agree. I think he was an anti-hero and a really good one up until this run.
But sorry, go ahead.
Because I think there's a difference with some of these characters in terms of just having the costume and the powers and being a Spider-Man. But in this story, Venom demonstrates the heroics and the responsibility of a Peter Parker, which makes him Spider-Man.
May I just say that I was literally just going for like they have the same powers.
No, and that's fine because that's one angle, right? That's one angle. But in this story, like I said, and if in the comments or if on here, if you haven't read it and you like Eddie Brock and Venom as a character, this is right up your alley. I just got it, which is great. Yes, and it's so cool. And so, like Zach said, after this ended, I was like, okay, I consider him. He's really a hero now. he'll never go back to being an anti-hero, and I like it. Some
Well,
people I know,
I
well,
don't know about that.
I mean, Dark Web's not over yet.
Yeah, I
well,
didn't read Dark Web, sir.
well, I don't.
How do you
I'm,
read Dark Web?
I'm not big on Dark Web right now, so I
Right.
forget the things I don't like. Remember?
You don't like
I
Infernal
forget the
Part
things-
2?
I forget the things I don't like. Remember? So
That's fair.
Um,
That's fair.
So yes, so mine's Venom, and I thank Paul for guiding me towards it, because it also let me talk about one of my favorite comic book runs of all time for a lot of reasons.
Well, you know, I need to give it a shot because I've read of Donny Cates. I've liked stuff he's done. Venom just never really resonated with me as far as like what he did. But I need to go back and read it eventually for the binge. We'll just do a big overview of it or whatever. I want to before we move off of Venom, I want to comment on my new blood brother, who just commented, and he brought up a point. Rick, I'm not sure if you're still in the chat, but if you are, can you explain what happens in Avengers 10? Who the hell is a doppelganger? Is it a robot?
No, it's a robot made by Kane.
No, robots do not. AI does not count, sir. That does not count. That is up. That's out of here.
Wait, are
Get
we
outta
talking about art or Spider-Man?
We're talking about just real Spider-Man characters.
It was
like
actually
a legitimate character.
I just checked. It was Avengers 11, sir. Not 10.
Well, whatever.
Look at these
Zach.
flexes from Paul to Adam to Zach.
I know. Whatever. Yeah.
See, it's Avengers 11, sir.
Well, okay. So, Rick, either way, I think you bring up a good point, but AI doesn't count in my opinion. Robots don't count. That's Doombots don't count.
Also,
They do.
while I have a chance,
It's like
here,
Flash Thompson wore the Spider-Man costume in the Ditko run.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Two
exactly.
times.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, Paul, while I have a chance
Yes,
here,
sir.
I just would like to remind Rick there will be a financial compensation for if he ever chooses to let one of the Spider-Man 300 go. If he ever chooses to let one of those go, I will.
I told you, Nico.
If
I will up my price.
This is the guy to
Nico,
give it
if
to.
I win the lottery, I'm buying it for you. Okay?
Zach, thank you so much,
Nico,
man.
if
My
anyone's
brother.
gonna talk Rick into getting them somehow 300, it's gonna be me, sir. I love you, but I need to send over you.
I will send your daughter to college.
He's got enough to give both of us 12.
He has enough to give this whole council.
Yeah, he's got enough.
yeah.
Share the
Give
wealth,
the whole
man.
council. Rick,
Spread
where
the
you
wealth.
at?
So
We're
let
talking
us
redistribution.
let him
of
cook,
comics
feed us,
now.
sure.
Yes,
Chef Rick.
yes.
Please just cook for us. Let us cook. Please
Yes.
feed us. I'll give
Yeah.
several to
There you
Paul in
go.
my way.
All right, we're calling up Paul.
Yeah, all I gotta say is I won't be far behind you, sir. So I'm not sure we'll enjoy it very much once you get it to. But anyway, but yeah, but the Kraven's a good point though, Rick. I will give you Kraven's a good point. You could.
He did.
I don't know if I would say it. I would say full bore that it is a alternate Spider-Man because he emulates Spider-Man, but he's not a Spider-Man character like for a long period of time.
He also
Until
wore the
the Dan
costume
Slott
in the
series
Ditko
where
run.
we had the current
that,
Dan
Zach?
Slott's Adjective series where you have like a Kraven Spider-Man.
I mean, yeah, hey, I like that character by the way. I'm with a very yeah, but Kraven, just because you call yourself Spider-Man doesn't mean you are Spider-Man. I mean, let's be real. Let's be real here. All right, so Nico, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad.
Hey, thanks, man.
I'm glad you.
Appreciate
I'm glad. Yeah, of course. I'm glad you picked Venom. It was because I always consider him the first one. I mean, I know technically that you say the
I
clone
definitely
was.
will give you that though, but I do like that take because he kind of was really created to be his opposite.
He's
And
the
so it
Bizarro
was like he was fighting
Spider-Man.
himself. Yeah. So that's what he was created for. I just took it as like when he becomes, in my opinion, a hero.
A hero.
Is,
Gotcha.
is in the Donny Cates run. Like pretty objectively, he's a hero in that
Sure.
story, in my opinion.
Any last thoughts on Venom, Zach? As you put your head down the entire time.
Sorry, my ADD was kicking in and I was playing with action.
It's all right. I
Um,
know. That's why I called you
The
out.
best answer
I
he
still
could have
love you.
given too.
I know.
The best
but-
answer.
Oh,
It's so
no,
endearing.
we didn't catch you playing your dolls again.
You can't even get
But,
mad when that's the answer.
No, yeah.
Look, I think that I think Nico is right. He definitely comes into his own as a hero with the Donny Cates run, and so that does alter my perception of him as a result.
Okay. All right.
And if you consider like Flash Thompson Venom, there's different avenues you can go down.
Oh
to.
God, I don't want to get into. Oh my God, this is a rabbit hole. Oh my God, before we get in that rabbit hole, Javi, What do we got? Anything on Venom before we leave?
No, I think Nico made a really good choice, and
Thanks,
that run is something phenomenal. Like, I haven't read a lot of Venom stuff since like the 90s early ones, and I did pick up a lot of that. And the Absolute Carnage, I thought was a great
that's a
great series. Zeddy, that would have been my second choice, but I had to go with Miguel. But I love me some Spider-Gwen. Like, dude, my daughter and I read the entire, I read that to her when she was little, and it was awesome.
Also, does anyone, don't they call her Ghost Spider in the kids cartoon? Because they do. I still just call her Spider-Gwen, but I saw someone refer to her like comic book like that. And I'm like, did they bring that in the comics? No, it's just that cartoon.
Yeah, no, they did bring it in the comics.
Oh, they did bring it in the comics.
After Latour and Rodriguez left and they relaunched it, it was Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider, and then they relaunched it again, and it was just Ghost Spider. Then
she will always be Spider-Gwen.
Then it did the miniseries with MJ, and then it's whatever Gwen versus crap they're doing now.
Before I go into Adam for his final Venom take, I'm just gonna say that I think the Ghost Spider name has really grown on me, and I love it. I think she's that costume is maybe one of the greatest designs in the last 20 years.
Yeah, it is cool. It is really cool.
It's fantastic. So I think there's lots of stories, interesting stories to tell. I do need to read her. I have all her original comic books, Javi. I need to read them.
Read them to your daughter, man.
I will. When she gets older, I will.
When she gets older.
But I like the character a lot. But I'll be honest. I think they should have called her Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's her name. Yeah. That was her name in the universe.
Right. Yeah. I think. So, I just think that's the. Because if you can have Spider-Man, like two different Spider-Man, like Miles and Peter, why can't we have multiple Spider-Women?
Exactly. Yep.
I mean, I just
because of death.
I hate you. All right. Anyway, so I'm just
that's from the Falco, not me. So
I know the Falco. Anyway, Mr. Adam, before we move on, what is your last take on Venom?
I'll allow it. I'm just kidding.
No, it's Nico, weird, but I'll allow it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes sense. Like, it's an interesting question to consider. It's fun. It's harmless. Sure. Yeah. Right. I mean, that's essentially what he is. He's like anti-Spider-Man. So he's basically it's funny. He's like a Spider-Man,
All right. Here we go. So Adam, speaking of you, sir, what is your choice for today?
I picked Spider-Man Noir.
I like it.
All right.
I like it.
All right. Okay, why, sir? Tell us.
I don't know. Something about the character just kind of grabbed me. I'm not gonna lie. I read the two miniseries and for more or less the first time last night. I binged them all and I really enjoyed them. I knew the character through Shattered Dimensions, and I thought he was interesting, and it was fun to play as him. And I read his Edge of Spider-Verse issue back when the original Spider-Verse event happened, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I thought it was really interesting and creative taking this character and reimagining him in this kind of pulpy noir setting and basically kind of making him like the Shadow-ish, like Batman, kind of. But this is still Peter Parker. But he's Peter Parker, but he's different. He's almost a little more mature. He's angrier. The series is it's dark and kind of mysterious, and I don't know, it just all these reinterpretations of the villains are wacky, but they kind of fit this pulp noir aesthetic thing. The way he gets his powers fits. It's so interesting. And there's there's this social political component that I think resonates today now more than ever. Like I think it, I mean, it probably resonated. Like this character is like several years, like over a decade old now.
Hi, Chris.
But I think like the message of the two miniseries.
My friend Jose's in here. Sorry.
Are
hi, Jose.
They're just, I don't know, they resonate. The political stuff in the two miniseries, the original two miniseries, resonate more today, like even more today. Yeah, I don't know. I like I don't know. I like this guy. And I think the costume is, I like how simple the costume is. I like how it's basically just like he basically has like striped pants and he's got like, you know, the grooves in his turtleneck, and that's, I guess you could say like that's the webbing on his costume. And then all he has on the mask are the three stitching pattern thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's all you need. Like, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's Spider-Man. Like, and it's just all black, and I don't know. It's cool.
The antithesis of what you expect Spider-Man to be, but it's so utilitarian.
Utilitarian, yeah. It just works really well.
It really does work really well. Who was the voice actor of Spider-Man Noir in Shattered Dimensions? Do you remember?
It was Christopher Daniel Barnes.
That's right, the voice of 90s Spidey. And if I had my soundboard working properly, I would have played, Mary Jane.
But yeah, I don't know. There's something I think, I don't know. It's just a night, like it's a fun. I would recommend, the two original miniseries.
I like the first one better than the second one.
Yeah, I think I like the second one better. Eyes Without a Face.
Oh, who did the art on the second one? I don't remember, Adam.
Oh,
for both.
I can't talk about this.
Interesting.
It's Carmine did Domenico.
Interesting.
Keep
talking.
I think he did The Flash for Rebirth or something.
He did, and then just did Batman the Knight with Chip Zdarsky, which is kind of like the new origin for Batman, where it's really good, other than it has Ghostmaker in it also.
And I really like the art in those two miniseries too.
He also did the two Spider-Man Fantastic Four miniseries in the mid-2000s, as well as Spider-Man the X-Men miniseries.
Yeah, I think that is
first in continuity. Fun fact: Spider-Man X-Men is the first in continuity news story that was done before Brand New Day, and with Ben Reilly.
Zeddy's killing it today.
He is. He's on a roll, man.
He's on a roll. Zeddy, you're on a roll. We'll get you on here soon.
Every day.
I just want Zeddy to stop watching movies and then read some comics for once. Anyway.
I'm
just kidding.
But yeah,
right,
like
Adam,
I don't know. It's a dark series. Like it's kind of, there's some violence in it. It's kind of brutal. And what was the other word I was thinking of? I can't remember. But it was it's there's some brutal stuff in it. But it's not. I feel like it's not totally tasteless, I guess. I don't know. It fits the whole world and aesthetic that they're going for, and I don't know, it's just there's something really compelling to me about it, which I think he was adapted he was adapted in Into the Spider-Verse, of course, and I feel like
with Nicolas Cage of all people, which is pretty awesome.
Which yeah, but I feel like that kind of it loses something there, but I get it because it's for kids. So yeah. Which this series is not for kids.
No, it's intense.
no, it's not.
It's intense.
All right, really quickly, I want to. So Jose, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. And for recommendations, go crazy in the comments, man. Say like what you're into, and all of us will throw stuff in there for you. So, if you're looking for Spider-Man recommendations, first thing I tell people is honestly the Birth of Venom trade paperback. I always tell people if you want to get people into Spider-Man, it's a good one because it gets you into what I grew up reading. I love it, and I think it's a pretty solid story. It's not like Watchmen or anything. Don't get me wrong, But I would say if you want to get into Spider-Man comics, it's a great introduction thing that kind of gets you into the universe, kind of get a feel for the comics. Venom, it's a classic story, and the art's pretty solid all the way around. So go read that. And I can be really quick, Zach. Go.
Bang for your buck. Every single character we talked about in this episode, Marvel Unlimited has all their books.
Yes.
So go to Marvel Unlimited. It's $10 a month, but you get access to not every comic book, but a vast majority of the stuff, especially for the last 15 years. All that stuff that's come out, it's all there. And a lot of the older stuff from the 90s has been everything that's been collected in trade paperback is on Marvel Unlimited. So you can go read, all the Donny Cates Venom stuff, all of the older Venom stuff, if you want to do that to yourself.
That's for Chris.
You got all the 2099 stuff. You've got all the Clone Saga. The entire Clone Saga is there.
Yeah.
You've got all of the Spider-Man Noir stuff. So every single thing we've talked about, it's a one-stop shop. Or go to your comic store and go find these.
Yeah. Amen.
So anyway, I know you guys have a lot to say about Noir, but Javi, Javi will vouch for this. I literally told him this today. I'm like, oh man, I'm really surprised that he picked Noir. I'll be honest, I'm a little surprised, because I think, in my opinion, these are bad. Like, I love the character. Like, I think he's an interesting character. I think the comic stories, I read them a long time ago. I bought them in trades, and I need to reread them, but I remember not liking them at all when I read them back in the day. And I thought they were pretty bad, to be quite honest. Like, I legitimately,
people have peculiar tastes.
I feel you. I'm a little surprised. I'm like, whoa, wow. Like, I didn't think, like, I was surprised. I mean, you did just reread it, so maybe it's fresh and you're feeling good on it. But I remember reading it back in the day. I haven't read it in like 10 years, but I remember thinking this is not good, in my opinion. But here's the thing, though. That being said,
I stand by this. I think it's more socially relevant now.
That's fair. Yeah.
I will tell you that right now.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's been like 5 or 6 years since I've read these. So I'm really curious to go back and read it again, because I don't, or maybe it's just we were in different circumstances last time I read them. But I'm really curious to go like read these over the next week and look at them again.
Well, there's just like it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't go too in depth, but like there's it's like a lot of working class stuff. Like the rich are screwing us over, and
it was very much
the city is corrupt. Like Batman. And then there's racial stuff.
Listen, it's a brilliant concept. I think it's one of those things like, and this is a problem in comics, at least mainstream superhero comics anyway, is that I think the concept is brilliant, but the execution isn't there. But as you can see, Noir's lasted because the costume looks effing amazing. And it's an interesting concept. So he survived so long, despite, I think, in my opinion, Adam, that's my opinion, mediocre stories. I need to reread it.
I will say that it does have a limited. I do think it does have a limited shelf life, because essentially, well, you'll see the fates of like half of his villains if you read it.
Venkman, I challenge you to read those stories. How about this? I'll get you on here. We'll read it together out loud, and you tell me. You can tell me.
Tell me it's not a good story.
You bring all the crawl spacers. Tell me I'm insane for like a chasm as we read Spider-Man Noir out loud, and that's all I got to say. I will do it. Bring him on. I will. If you guys all say I'm insane, I will read all the dialogue out loud. So, and we will go.
I think it is not bad dialogue.
I just want to structure.
Here's my issue that I think I might be able to tap into what he's saying. If you read it through the scope of a modern lens, it doesn't feel right. But if you read it in the scope of the time period of which it's being written in, I think it reads better when you put that in your brain as you're reading it, as opposed to trying to make it feel
it was never.
It's definitely not a modern take. It's definitely a very noir. Take
thus
on
the name,
Spider-Man.
right?
And,
Yeah.
I mean, it is the point, but as a noir type of scenario, it's not that noir is not for everybody in terms of reading.
Listen, Linda, listen. Let me just throw this out here, okay, for a second. It's been a while since I've read it, okay, but I can just tell you, there was a lot of just straight up, if I remember correctly, and this is no offense to anyone who likes this, straight up dumb things in there, where I'm like, this is just dumb. Its structure is just dumb. And I remember being very disappointed because I bought those trades. I sought them out. I hunted those mothers down to read them. I was so excited. And I read it. I'm like, this is not good. This is almost, to me, objectively, not objectively, like, this is not good. But I didn't reread it. It's been a while. And I respect, like Adam knows, and this is no BS. Adam knows this. I respect the hell out of him. So if he likes it, I might need to go back and read it. But if you were to challenge me, Venkman, and tell me that Chasm is worse than this, I will take that challenge, sir. And we will take it, and we will put it to the test. Because I can tell you right now, I'll say this. I think Spider-Man Noir is a more interesting concept than Chasm is. Yes, sure, because it's interesting. But the execution in that book, no way in hell. There's no way in hell. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. So anyway,
Adam, did you read the 2020 Spider-Man Noir series? And if so, what did you think?
I haven't read that. I've heard mixed things about it.
But I'll probably is gorgeous. But
was that one for Ferreira?
Yeah, and maybe? It's more of like an Indiana Jones type story than traditionally what we think. Traditionally, like he's only been around 10 years, but yeah.
Wow, even Rick agrees with you guys.
You're on an island, you guys. You're on an island.
You know what?
I respect
here's
you.
The thing. You know what?
Like Paul's off. Like he's off a cliff, is what he is.
Listen, Chasm.
I enjoyed Chasm so far.
Here's the thing with Chasm is that he
looks pretty good, honestly.
He looks phenomenal. And I think as they develop him more, putting him in Inferno was a bad decision. But I've liked what they've done with him so far. And there's going to come a point where he is going to get some of those memories back. There's going to be some good drama there, I think.
Paul is in a chasm, yeah.
That's fair. Fair.
So who's Paul picking? And I'm curious. I have a guess, but I'm going to wait till it comes up.
All right, we'll move on.
It's like he's picking the one person we couldn't pick.
Because
it's his show and he can do what he wants.
Yeah. I picked Miles Morales.
I was gonna.
No, I would never do that to you guys. But and to be fair, I for those who don't know, I deliberately told people don't pick Miles, and I'm not saying everyone would pick Miles, especially Zach. Zach hates Miles. I'm just kidding, Zach. Which I think you don't like Miles, but I digress.
I like Miles before he got put in 616. I like Miles a lot less since he's been in the 616.
Hey,
and I think the Spider-Verse also. I think Into the Spider-Verse made him a better character too.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. I think Into the Spider-Verse.
That's all I'll say about that. Yeah,
Into the Spider-Verse made the right call, making him in his own universe.
Yeah.
The problem that I have with Miles is that his uniqueness as a character is diminished
because he gets brought in. Yeah.
Because he gets brought in. Because then what makes him unique is only the fact that he is
a sidekick. He's like Robin. Yeah. He's
like
Robin.
But the thing is though, is that, and this why I don't want to get to a Miles thing, because this is a good conversation, honestly, is that he's different because of not of his background, obviously, but also the fact that where he's not as uncool as Peter Parker. He's more like he's more like a normal kid. It fits
he's well-rounded.
Exactly. So there's plus you bring in the minority aspects. I think are very interesting too. Mm-hmm. You put all that together, it's a totally different character. So people try to tell me that Miles isn't bringing in the table. I just tell them to shut the F up, because all those things right there are way
a lot to the table.
Exactly. Yeah. Hobby. So,
but to Zach's point, I got to agree with him on that, because after Secret Wars, all of a sudden we had Peter, Miguel, and Miles all in New York doing
Right.
Spider-Man stuff in the same time period, with Gwen going to school in the 616, which that's a whole other bucket of worms right there. And then there's Silk and Jessica Drew. So it was like, it was way too much.
He does bring immense things to the table still, even in the 616. But I think also what I think Zach went to mention too is I do think the one thing with Miles is that his original origin is so significant because Peter Parker is this successor, and even though he brings a lot to the table, he does feel like more of the Robin, the Nightwing, the sidekick, right? Which is okay to a degree, but it was a little bit more, and that's why Into the Spider-Verse works so well. Is it
puts him on the front.
Of anyone can wear the mask. So I get that. But I also think just character-wise, Into the Spider-Verse does a lot more for him too.
No, for sure.
Took a while to get going.
But here's what I want to say, and before I give you my take here. The thing with Miles and those comic books is the first 12 issues of that Bendis Sarah Pichelli run is fantastic. It is very, very good. Mm-hmm. And the Prowler storyline, the Scorpion, him learning, those are great Spider-Man comic books that I feel a lot of hardcore Spider-Man fans, won't name names, just disregarded that because it was Miles. Because of what it represented as far as like a different Spider-Man that was like, oh, we're trying to, and just, I remember back in the day, there's a lot, not just, there's a lot of people trying to say that about Miles. And I think they weren't giving it enough service, because when I think about those stories fondly, because they were good. They were very good. Really good. And let's be real. Into the Spider-Verse borrows heavily from that first arc from at least a good portion of it from that Bendis run, which people are going to be like, don't give enough credit to. So one day on the binge, we'll reread that those first 12 issues, those are good. So I say all this to talk about my favorite version. Now, I'm just going to give some runners up. Obviously, Miles is up there. I really thought about, because really, you're going to laugh. Chasm is my, one of my favorites, AKA Ben Reilly, but we'll call him Chasm. That's what he is now. So I just want to make sure I rubbed that in Zach's face a little bit. Anyway, but yeah, no, I love Ben Reilly. I always will love these issues. The Clone Saga is a mixed bag of a lot of good and a lot of bad, a lot of really bad, but there's lots of good stuff there too. But I don't love Ben enough, because I've criticized Ben Reilly being Diet Peter Parker. He really is Diet Peter Parker in my opinion. I've argued that. I know you're going to disagree with me, Zach, but that's just my opinion, and that's why it's always been harder for me to really say like he's my favorite. Now, if I Peter Parker, because he is. Or how about this? He's Coke Zero Peter Parker, because he's not. He's a little more.
Edgier. That's worse. Call him Diet. Please call him Diet. Anyway, don't call him Coke Zero.
Oh God. At least Coke Zero tastes better.
G2. He's G2. He's G2.
He's new Parker. Coke. He's new Coke.
Remember Gatorade 2? G2?
No.
He's Crystal Pepsi. No. He's Crystal Pepsi. He's Crystal Pepsi Peter Parker. Yes.
Wow. I mean, I thought he was Baja Blast Peter Parker.
Well, that's now.
Baja Blast. Peter Parker is Baja Blast.
Then we're talking about.
Peter Parker is Baja Blast, because that's the greatest soda of all time.
What people are gonna think this is a cop out? Like I'm just. People are gonna think I'm picking up obscurity. Now, Rick, if you're still listening,
I already did obscurity, kind of. I did the upset here. Well, Nico did the upset, actually.
That's okay. Bankman, we'll get you on the council sometime, sir. I mean that real. I'm gonna get you on here. You deserve it.
I do love wrong opinions.
Listen, Venkman, I love that he disagrees. I love disagreeing with the guy. The cool thing about Venkman, he's one of the most literally generous dudes in the universe. And I just want to just commend him. And like, he's honestly, Venkman, you're a good dude. I appreciate the hell out of you and what you do for people around me. You're an awesome, awesome guy. And I will get you on the show. We can argue about toys and about that one guy that's on YouTube you don't like. We can argue about Spider-Man, but really in the end, you have a good big heart, and I appreciate you like crazy, even when you're wrong about Ben Reilly. I love you.
I love
So
that in there.
we love
Yeah,
we
I
all
all
love
that
our
to
own
only
opinions.
sneak in that last time.
Yeah.
but no, but in all seriousness, Stakeman, we'll get you on soon. But yeah, I know you love you some Spidey. Sorry, I'm gonna need him to meet Zach. All right, it was him. All right, so here's the deal. So Rick, I'm gonna see if you picked this one. Okay, I don't know. This is a little bit different, and the thing is,
Oh boy.
people are gonna think like, why'd you pick this? And there's a legitimate reason. Okay.
Oh wait.
And I'm gonna pick, and this is not the exact iteration of the character, but it's the same costume, so we're just gonna go with it. I picked, yeah, you're just chill out. Here we go. I picked the Captain Universe.
Oh,
Peter Parker.
wow.
That's
Now, this is not,
Oh,
this is 616
wow.
Peter Parker. Now, there's a reason why I picked this.
cool.
Because
Oh, yeah.
of What If issue 31. What if
Mhm.
Spider-Man had kept his cosmic powers? You're wondering right now, why in the hell am I picking this character? Now, there's a good reason.
Yeah.
I straight up just love, first of all, why do I love comic books or superhero comic books? Well, it's because of freaking amazing costumes like this. I mean, this is why. This was my first introduction to the Captain Universe Unipower, and from this comic book series, which I'll show you all here in a moment. This is from Amazing Spider-Man issue 329, where he took on the freaking Sentinel. Sentinel, excuse me. Centennial is a thing that actually happened. Anyway, I'm all hyped up. And this comic is one of my favorite comics of all time. I think it's a brilliant comic book. It's just so fun and ridiculous. And I always loved the Cosmic Adventures Spider-Man. And I always thought, before I read that comic book, it'd be kind of cool. Like, why couldn't he keep his powers? Like, I thought as a kid, like, why couldn't he? And it's just one of those things where I love the costume so much. I want to know what happened. And I just love this costume. And this issue, I don't even want to bring pages into it, because it's not anywhere. You have to go out and get it. But if you guys know where to get it, go get it and read it, because it is a really interesting tale about Spider-Man. Rick, have you read this? Tell me if you read this. It's really interesting, and it brings up Venom. It brings up Hobgoblin at one point.
Yeah, that's fascinating, actually,
dude,
what they do with that.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff they do with this. And this is how you basically justify it. This is basically if Spider-Man was Superman.
Mhm.
And it brings in that idea, and again, they do this all in like 30 something or 24 pages.
Yeah.
It's a really underrated Spider-Man story. It's by Glenn Hanzig or something like that. I forgot what his name is, but it's like it's not someone who's done much as far as I've known. But I think it's Scott McDaniel who did the art. I think it's Scott McDaniel who did it. Is that the same guy I'm thinking of who did Green Goblin?
I believe so.
Adam, help me out. Can you do me a favor? Can you look it up? I'm too distracted to like look this up. If you can do that for me, I appreciate it.
I know. Well, he did like Daredevil too, right?
Well, right, but did he do this comic book? I think it was him.
What is it?
So anyway, what if 31? Yeah.
31. Okay.
And guys, this is how legit it is. I don't even know where my original copy is. I've read that comic 1,000 times. Like, I've read it 1,000 times. It's got great stuff. Go out, find it somehow, whether you buy the single issue like I did, as you can see here. This is a single issue. Got it for $3. You can probably get it for like $1 online. My original copy just beat the crap. I think I traded for it at school. When he showed it to me, I lost, like, I think I blew my load. Like, and I saw it, I was like, oh my god, and I had to
in
have
a
it.
school, Paul.
Wow.
I got stories. All right. Anyway, yeah. So
well, I'll tell you what's fun about that is
okay.
It kind of brings our two answers full circle, because guess who else was Captain Universe pretty recently? Was Eddie Brock.
No way.
I might have just spoiled King in Black for you. I'm sorry.
That's awesome. I love that. That's really cool.
So it's cool that they both have at one point shared that.
And
there he is.
I had to get this. Guys, this is how special it is. And this, I'm not even joking with you. So I have this, right? I love this character. And I saw the toy, I'm like, I have to get the toy. Literally the day after we got married, my wife and I, we stopped at a Target on the way to California to do a road trip. So first Target I stopped at, There he was.
Huge.
I said,
There he
I
was.
said, Beep Beats, we got it. That's why I call my wife Beep Beats. I said, Beep Beats, I gotta get this. So this is, I love this. So again, if you're looking for,
I hope that they redo the bot. I hope they redo that one with the new sculpt, the new
Marvel
more
Legends nerd
muscular
over here.
sculpt. That would be legit.
This is fine. This is fine for me. I don't mind it. So anyway,
they made a pop, right?
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. There's a pop.
I thought they
There's a
did.
pop? I didn't get it. I didn't know about it. I'm not as knowledgeable in the pop, so I don't
Yeah, I
know
think there's
that
a.
one.
Pretty sure there's a pop.
You
I
should be.
have to-
Their headquarters is in your neck of the woods, buddy.
Well, I know it's up. If you ever come visit me, I'll take you up there. Yeah. So what's my So Scott McDaniel's art. I love the art. The art is really interesting. And
it's him and Sam De La Rosa and another guy on inks.
Okay.
And it's Glenn Herdling who wrote it.
It did come with different heads. You can have the Captain Universe head, but I ain't gonna use that head. What the hell, dude? I'm gonna use
It
freaking
also
Spider-Man.
had the bearded Peter Parker head from the Spider-Verse story where he had a beard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. This to me, this is one of my favorite. And I think in Spider-Verse, when Slott was doing it, I think he took this guy off the table pretty quick.
He did.
Yeah, he
to everyone's chagrin, yes.
Yeah, they
to me, they should have included these effects like they include with like Shocker. If you've got extra one of those, put them on his hands.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call. So yeah, this is an issue. I didn't realize Scott McDaniel drew that. That's awesome because he's a great 90s artist. But yeah, as you can see, like this is like Doom shows up. As you can see, like this is a brilliant cover, by the way. This is this is an underrated comic book. Like, go pick this up. This there's like a fight of the subconscious of Captain Universe and Spider-Man that they show right here. It's rad, man. This is a out of this world comic book. So Captain Universe, Spider-Man. What if Spider-Man basically was Superman is what you want to read. And that's my favorite alternate version of Spider-Man. So
and he's a great skin in the first PS1 game.
I was gonna say that, Javi.
Because he could do everything.
He was another one that was fun to play.
Yeah.
As in those games.
So anyway, guys, we are done with our first, our favorite alternate Spider-Mans. We have to do this again, maybe bring in more, just to bring up more alternate Spider-Mans, because there is so much. There's so many, and
somebody mentioned Kane earlier. I could go on and on about Kane too.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
I'm surprised no one did Superior. I am surprised nobody did Superior.
You know what? I almost chose
favorite.
I was this close because I do love me Superior Spider-Man.
I was
legitimately
shocked that's who I thought you were going to do it. I was going Superior.
It was on my mind. It was, I would say without Miles, I would say between Ben and Superior was like kind of like, but then I remembered, I'm like, wait a minute. I freaking love Cosmic. I'm like, no, it's gotta be Cosmic Spider-Man. This is what it is. Like, I love.
When does Spider-Verse come out? October?
June.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
June.
You're right. It's June. It was supposed to be this October.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, March. Or the third one is March.
We should probably do Slott Spider-Verse, like right before it.
Here's what we'll do.
We should probably do that.
Hold on, Vakeman, do you want to join us to read the Spider-Verse? I know you love Stan Slott.
I don't like Slott, but I like Spider-Verse. That's where I compromise with this panel.
It's funny. We'll do the Slott debates at some point. But Vakeman, I'm no BS, man. I would love to have you on and talk Spider-Verse at some point. So we'll get you on the council. So I expect you to eventually accept my invitation when I invite you at some point.
We will do a full review of the film.
Yes.
On Spidey Dude Experience.
Okay.
Everybody in the council is invited.
Okay.
We'll do what we did with No Way Home. No Way Home, which is do the live caller thing, and all participate. So
yes. So I love it. I'll do it. I think we should review Spider-Verse. I think we should lead up to it a little bit.
Agreed.
I almost think it sucks. I know you want to do the Slott debates for your show, Zach. I think we should do some kind of cross-reference thing because I think there is a lot of value there. Because I think there's enough people on here who both like and dislike or in the middle on Stan Slott. It'd be interesting to go back and read those comics because
it would be.
It would
look, my goal is by the end of the first quarter of this year to get started on the slot debates.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get on there.
One of my goals.
Fun. It would be cool too to revisit with. I'll admit a little bit more of an open mind in my slightly older.
Yeah, yeah. And Vakeman, like, here's the thing, man. As long as if you go and reread it, I mean, just be real. If you go and reread it and you still want to tear him a new one and you bring in your points, that's cool. I just want. I'm not saying you would do this, but it's anyone I invite on. I just don't like it. I want legitimate reasons why. Like, I don't want just being like, because it doesn't. It's not. It's because he's Parker Industries. It's like, okay, but what about Parker? What exactly?
Why is it?
I want, again, not you, because I've seen criticisms of this stuff where I feel like it's just like because they just want to hate, not you, but other things.
No, sure, no.
People.
It's very easy. It's like a buzzword on Twitter too, and like comic Twitter.
Exactly.
It's just easy to rip it, or like with a lot of things, even with like a lot of this stuff now, like they take screen grabs and they try to rip it now. And
exactly, it's easy. It's easy to take things out of context and be like, "This panel is the worst panel of all time." It's like, what? Like, no, it's not. This is like not even close to worst thing of all time. Like, have you read? I mean, have you read the Spider-Man Noir? I mean, come on.
And don't get me started.
I knew that was coming.
And don't get me started on like comic talk, because you got a bunch of people who act like that they read and they don't. Like you, Paul, went off the one day, dude. That was legendary.
Oh yeah,
that was legendary.
What happened?
It was when you went off about the guy said that he watched YouTube of Invincible.
That fraud.
and he thinks it's going to be a great story, and you're like, well, maybe you should actually say that. Pissed me off though, because as someone who sat through, I've read Invincible and it's incredible, and the show is incredible. But then to see someone be like, I watched the YouTube of it and you guys aren't ready for what's coming. I'm like, nah, brother, you got to read that and feel the emotions and see the storytelling. Then you can tell me, then you can tell people they're not ready.
This was also a guy, wasn't he the one who was saying that Riri Williams should have been in Iron Man 3 as the kid when she wasn't even created yet at that point?
Yeah. She should have been Hartley. She should have been Hartley. And I'm like, well, she didn't exist yet.
She wasn't.
Invented. It would have been a good idea if she had existed.
Can we just call that freezing cold comic takes and just create a Twitter of just that type of crap?
Please, freezing cold. Yeah.
It's just, I mean,
and we call it freezing cold comic takes, because like freezing. Look, I will freely admit my take on Ben Wright or on Miles Morales when it was back in 2011, I was wrong. I am profoundly.
It takes guts, bro. Guts. That's straight up. Mad respect.
Don posted something about it the other day, and I said, look, that was probably my worst comic take that I've ever made, because I didn't understand the cultural impact that it was going to have. I thought it was just going to be something that was going to be very one and done and not have an impact. But now, looking at it through the prism of being a little older, a little wiser, it was my worst take, bar none. And I had some whoppers on Crawl Space when I was on there, but I can say when I was on Crawl Space, when I talked about Miles at the time, I was wrong, and I think I had admitted that I felt like I was wrong, but now that it's been a decade, I was definitely profoundly wrong.
And again, mad respect, bro, because listen, it takes effing guts to admit where you're wrong. And I'm not trying to rub it by any means. I'm trying to rub it in. I think it's amazing and commend you. And I encourage everyone to admit when they look back, because listen, there's the things I'm going to say. I've said plenty of bad things in my day, of like whether it be comic takes or whatever. And and sometimes you just don't understand about what, not that's culturally, but just anything like of any kind of art with a capital A, right? And I think that there's obviously you want to be you want to embrace our the people around us and let them grow. How are we going to grow without like embracing like people who go like, man, that was a bad viewpoint. Like that's the problem with today's world. We can't embrace people who are, we can't embrace them and love them regardless of their differences, but also like accept them if they do admit it. Like, you lost your chance. Like, obviously, this is how we do it, man. Like, listen,
there's a dog. Sorry.
Yeah, I love dogs. You know, so wrapping this up, man, like I love that. That's a good way to end it, honestly, because I think Miles is to me, he's not a perfect character. I'm not gonna say here he's like you know, better than Peter Parker. I'm not gonna say that, you know, 616 is the be all end all, in my opinion. But I will say that there's a lot of value that Miles has brought. And I think the comics at first did a good job. It got watered down, I think, because it just they didn't know what to do with them at that point. But then Into the Spider-Verse really showed you the power of Miles and how different he is from Peter. He's not Peter Parker. He's not. And people who try to act like, I'm like, no, guys, he's not. This is not the same character. You know, he's a fan. He's got his own agency. He's a much different person, and that's what makes him so interesting. If you just embrace that aspect of it, besides the fact that like he's trying to appease Peter Parker, like, which again I can understand because we're protective of things we grew up with and what we love. We love Spider-Man, so I get it. So. I listen, this has been great. I want to have more talks about Miles eventually. There's so much to get into. I almost think about having the Spider Council be a regular monthly thing and have it be on a different day so I can have a rotating thing. Like I talked to Rick. I need to have Rick on here. Rick, my blood brother.
When you do Miles, you need to bring Don on.
Oh, Don. Yeah, Don's been on the show before. We talked Ego. Don's awesome. I told him we're going to do Nightfall eventually. He's going to come on too for that. So Don is great. I need to get him on again. But yeah, this has been great, guys. Please like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe. Appreciate everyone who does it. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. And when I get there, hopefully we'll get more views. I want to basically monetize and start a Patreon after 1,000 subs. So I can then make more comics. I'm not trying to make money off this for profit. I literally want to take what I make into making art for the medium and help people and artists and writers like myself get out there. So that's the goal of the Comic Binge. That's all it is. And I appreciate everyone who supports the channel. Really quick, everyone do one more round of where they can find you. Zach, go. Where can they find you?
At Spidey Dude Radio or at Spidey Dude on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Spidey Dude Network on both. And you can always find us on Spidey Dude Radio, youtube.com/Spidey Dude Radio Network for all the stuff that we have on the Spidey and Spidey-Dude.com.
All right. Nico, where can they find you?
Twitter at Nico Caruso, TikTok at Nico Knows Film. Everything I do is in those two places. You'll find it all.
I love it. All right, Mr. Javi, where they can find you, sir?
Right now at Javi True, you can find reviews on Batman on Film, both the website and the YouTube page, and maybe another YouTube thing coming up soon.
Ooh, we'll see. You get don't threaten me with a good time, sir. All right, and Adam, where can we find you, sir?
Enchilada Legs on Twitter, Spidey Dude Experience on the Spidey Radio Network, and it was brutal and gruesome. That was the word I was looking for. So there you go.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone, please follow, subscribe to the Comic Binge. Twitter, Instagram, it's all on there. It's all on the bottom. Check it out. Again, appreciate everyone. The Reverend isn't here, but as always, read more comics. Good night, y'all.